Hello everyone, Crispin Huxley here from Age of Liberty. In recent news, The Guardian reported that an Australian icebreaker's attempt to save a Russian ship trapped in the ice of the Antarctic was thwarted by a massive blizzard. The icebreaker ship reached within 10 nautical miles of the Russian vessel. The irony of this situation is that a number of the 74 people trapped on board are a team of climate change scientists who have harped on the dangers of global warming. On Christmas Day, the ship got stuck in Antarctic ice during her Antarctic expedition led by Australian global warming professor Chris Turney. Turney and his team took the voyage to study ocean warming and to retrace the route of the Australasian Antarctic expedition launched by geologist Douglas Mawson in 1911. The website for the ill-fated expedition attempts to make the case that the Antarctic is being threatened by the warming of the ocean, even in the Commonwealth Bay location where they are currently frozen into the ice. This is the same location where Mawson's ship sailed freely over 100 years ago. As you can see here in this film from his voyage, despite the claims made on the group's website promoting the idea of global ocean warming, blogger Anthony Watts also pointed out that Mawson's team that landed in 1911 experienced much warmer conditions. Not only is the comparison of the two expeditions troubling for the global warming idea, but the National Snow and Ice Data Center reported that the current extent of the Antarctic sea ice is 2 standard deviations above normal. NASA also announced back in September that the Antarctic ice had reached its largest point since it began keeping record back in 1979. The team, despite the circumstances and evidence contradicting their claims, put out this message: "We're stuck in our own experiment. We came to Antarctica to study how one of the biggest icebergs in the world has altered the system by trapping ice. We followed Sir Douglas Mawson's footsteps into Commonwealth Bay and are now ourselves trapped by ice surrounding our ship. Sea ice is disappearing due to climate change, but here ice is building up. We have found this has changed the system on many levels. The increase in sea ice has freshened the seawater below, so much so that you can almost drink it. This change will have impacts on the deep ocean circulation. Underwater, forests of algae are dying as sea ice blocks the light. Who can say what effects the regional circulation changes may have on the ice sheets of the Antarctic plateau, or whether the low number of seals suggests changes to their population?" I'm not going to attempt to say that there's no such thing as climate change, but I will make the argument that climate has always been changing. In the 1970s, the establishment was worried about global cooling. See what Leonard Nimoy had to say about it.
In 1977, the worst winter in a century struck the United States. Arctic cold gripped the Midwest for weeks on end. Great blizzards paralyzed cities of the Northeast. One desperate night in Buffalo, 8 people froze to death in marooned cars. Pat Bushnell was on the road that night.
Traffic just absolutely stopped. I was afraid of being stuck in the car all night long with the cold and the wind running out of gas. And then what? I think that if we had to go through a real bad winter, just like we just went through, I think we'd have to think about moving someplace else.
Move where? The brutal Buffalo winter might become common all over the United States. Climate experts believe the next ice age is on its way. According to recent evidence, it could come sooner than anyone had expected. At weather stations in the far north, temperatures have been dropping for 30 years. Seacoasts, long free of summer ice, are now blocked year-round.
Did that sound familiar? Moving into the 80s and predominantly in the 90s, it was global warming. In more recent years, the trend has been to simply use the climate change label. The reality is that the Earth has gone through drastic climate changes throughout its history, even without the carbon emissions of man. Despite this reality, governments around the world are very eager to collect carbon taxes and expand global governance over the air that we freely breathe. We'll have more on this in future videos. This is Crispin Huxley, signing off.